Morning, everyone. That's Mike Tanner here, Mindset of Business Architect from Strategy and Conversions, here to talk about the fourth gremlin in my series of the 5 gremlins that stop you achieving your goals. This little gremlin is called Niggler. Now, he feeds on the beliefs that you've picked up in your past. So the way this starts is that when you were young, when your subconscious mind was completely open to everything that people said, before the conscious, around about 0 to 7, before the conscious mind starts to grow, people told you about what things you could and couldn't do even at that stage, because people that you held you in esteem, your parents, maybe teachers, all trying to protect you, trying to keep you from doing things. But this also went on, and then it went on into school. So because you were started hearing things like, "Oh, you're no good at that, really, are you? This is where you're better at," or "No, you can't really do that. That's not how things are done, or that's not how things operate." Or "You're no good at maths," or you start thinking, "Oh, you're not very good at maths, are you?" Or, they're very, very harmless. They kind of protect you. Wouldn't it be good if you went to college and studied this and studied that, because you don't really want to do art? What do you want to do art for? And comments like that start to have filtered in, and the Niggler, who's been there from your start of existence, as all these gremlins have, start to learns this stuff, and this stuff and this kind of feeds him, if you like. So in later years, when you start doing things, and this, and you're told these things when you're really, really early on in life, and they stick with you. So it could be that you were even into your sort of 11, 12-year-old, and you're still being told these things by people you respect and trusted, and they then sort of repeat themselves. So the Niggler is like that nagging little voice in the background that just carries on. You can't do that. What do you mean you want to run a business? No, you can't do that. Yeah, you're no good with numbers. No, that's not your. You're good at being a plumber, maybe, but you can't run a business being a plumber, because that's not, you can't run a business, you can't do this. So the Niggler keeps nagging away at these different things, and often there's no evidence of these things actually being true. So, for example, and I will use an example here of someone I really know quite well, who moved into a house that had to be renovated and had no money. Okay. But had no choice either. So didn't want to go into a house that had to be renovated, because she thought, no, I can't do this myself. I really have no idea what to do. But she had no choice. Went through a divorce, and the money that this person had, this was all she could afford. She didn't want to rent a place, she wanted to buy a place. So all she could afford was a place that really needed a lot of renovation. And she was told when she was a kid, when she was trying to do things, "Oh, you're no good at fixing things. You can't do this." She tried a bit of DIY when she was first kind of in early helping her parents. No, she wasn't any good. She wasn't handy. She was good at sort of English. She was going on to be an English teacher. So here she is. She's confronted this house. Niggler telling her she can't do it, and she just started to roll up her sleeve and learn. And that is the solution to the Niggler. So Niggler is always telling you can't do something, holding you back, sometimes pushing you down different paths, because that's something that's a kind of a groove that's always been put in there, that you can do something. But most of the time it's telling you can't do this, because the path you're going down may not be the one that you want, but you want to move into a different direction. The Niggler tells you can't do that, and holds you and just undermines you at every step, and knocks down, it completely erodes your self-confidence and self-belief in yourself. Self-belief in yourself. So self-belief. So erodes everything you're doing, and just makes you feel that, again, it keeps you small. It keeps you not being able to expand out of this comfort balloon that you're in, because outside are the things that you want to do, but this balloon is stopping you doing them and saying, no, no, that's not where you go. And Niggler is very, very good at keeping you in that balloon. So the solution to Niggler is actually, again, very, very simple, which a lot of these, the solution to these gremlins actually are. First of all, it's uh, thinking about when you have this thought. So for example, so going back to this lady who had this house, you can't fix a tap, for example. Tap was leaking, and she couldn't afford to get a plumber in. Had to think, well, I'm wasting a lot of water here. What do I do about it? We have the internet, the biggest library on the planet. So, and it have YouTube, which tells you about virtually how to do anything. So she learned. She just sat down and thought, right, I need to find out how I could fix this tap. So she learned. She learned how to fix a tap, followed a YouTube video, fixed a washer and a tap, and that's a tick. All of a sudden, she can do that. There's something that she has shown herself that actually I thought I couldn't do this, but I can do it. It's actually relatively easy. Then the next job, then the next job, and then once you start to learn. So learning is a huge, educating yourself is a huge solution to the Niggler, because if the Niggler says you're no good with numbers, you can't run a business, then there's plenty of YouTube videos, there's plenty of courses, there's plenty of people around who can help you to learn actually what you need to do. Once you started to learn those things and you suddenly can tick that box and say, I used to think I couldn't do it, but now I can prove that I can. You have the evidence for it. You can start to have these daily affirmations going on. That I'm a great business owner. I'm a really competent business owner. I know all the facets of business. I understand finance. You start affirming to yourself all the things you can do, and you will find that the messages that you can't do something will disappear. Because if it's something different, so for example, going back to this lady who fixed the tap, the next thing is painting a wall. And again, people say, oh, you can't do that. You can't say, painting a wall. But if you use the mindset that says, hang on a minute, I fixed a tap. I thought I couldn't fix a tap, and I did. And how good did that make me feel? Apply that same feeling to saying, right, I think I can't paint a wall, but perhaps I can. And how good will I feel when I've done it? YouTube videos, education, all that kind of stuff comes into play. She painted the walls. So she started to paint the walls. She started to plaster things that where the plaster was hanging off. She started to change things. It got to the stage where she actually knocked through a room. Now, that is a feat that not many people will actually take on themselves. But she got to the stage where she was in the whole do it yourself world. She was loving it. She was loving the sense of achievement, that she was changing things, making things happen. And she got to a stage where she actually knocked through a room, put in a supporting beam, for a doorway. Did all that on her own. I think she may have had some help from people she knew, but she was always actually doing the project herself. She was actually managing the project herself, managing and doing the work herself. And she renovated her house in 1 year. And she said at the end of it that she could have never ever believed that she could have ever have done that. So she went every discipline, building, plumbing, electrician, even she was doing sort of electrical work. Okay, you have to get electricians in to certify that it's all done correctly. But she was doing a lot of the stuff herself because she was learning, and she was getting to a stage where she really felt confident in doing what she was doing, and the sense of achievement was fantastic. And she silenced the Niggler gremlin. Now the Niggler is always there. Again, like with all these gremlins, especially in business, when you upscale your business. So, for example, you've got to business and you've hit a certain amount of turnover. Let's say you got to 50, 60K turnover in a year of business. And he said, wouldn't it be good if I could double that? Niggler will say, no, you can't double that. It's hard enough to do 60K. What do you mean you think you could do 120K? Well, why not? If you've done 60K and you understand the basics and you've got to the stage where you really understand business, you can scale. If you've got systems, you need to have systems in place that enable you to scale. Well, you can do that. You can either get people in, or you can actually look at what needs to be done and map it out on paper first. But you can start putting those systems in that enables you to scale, and all of a sudden you can have this 120K business. And then the following year, if you want to double that turnover again, takes a different set of thinking and ideas. But the first thing, if you set that kind of a goal or a desire to achieve that, the niggler will say, "Nah, you can't do that." But then you have the evidence you've done you've gone in 1 year 60K, you've doubled that in another year. So why not? It's something that's scalable. The niggler, you can shut the niggler up very, very simply by saying, "Well, here's the evidence that I have achieved it." So go back into your cage. Put a piece of put a tape over your mouth and just basically shut up. You put the niggler away, and you will be able to achieve amazing things that you never ever thought you could, because you started to do it and you've started to educate yourself to do it. So that's the solution to silencing the niggler, is to start to educate yourself, start doing that thing that you thought you couldn't do, and then you have the evidence. Even if it's not a perfect job, it doesn't matter. It's the fact is you've done it, you've attempted it, you've learned from maybe your mistakes or challenges on there, but you now have the evidence that you can. And that's the thing. Once you have the evidence-based reality that you can, then you shut Niggler right up. And every time Niggler comes back, recognize again that Niggler again, he's here, he or she's here, whichever you decide your gremlin is going to be, or it is here. It's back again, nagging at me and telling me I can't do this. Well, I'm sorry, but I know I can. I feel confident that I can. All I need to do is educate myself to find the easiest way, the best way to do this. And yeah, I can do it. So that's gremlin number 4, and that's how you silence your niggler. So I'll be back with gremlin number 5, and that will complete the whole series. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you, and I'm hoping this is also helping you to put all those gremlins in their place that are chipping away at your confidence. That's from me, and I'll speak to you again soon. Okay, bye for now.